Where are you going, gents? Well, morning, and today we're doing Campherskloof, which was done well over a year ago. And what I like about this one particular section about it is that you've got stunning fynbos in between the pine trees there. You don't find sections like that, other sections like that in the mountain easily, where you've got actual indigenous fynbos amongst pine trees. And that's going to be a little bit further towards, sorry for swinging, that side there. Then we eventually get to a saddle. From that saddle we can go down to an old hut which was built yonks ago by Cape Nature. And this is such a beautiful section of the mountain. It starts right at the top of the Outeniqua pass. Hardest work is at the start, and then it starts leveling out at least. This one has to put on climbing uphill before we get to a nice section with fynbos. Climbing from Outeniqua. This will give you an idea, looking at the elevation or seeing the people coming up here. And yeah, for the first time in quite a while, it starts becoming a little bit more level for a change. A little downhill, one down, three ups, one down, three ups, until we eventually get to the saddle farmland. But you're going to see more of the farmland when we're at the saddle, which is gorgeous terrain. Just a couple of meters away from the saddle, where it's all downhill on the other side of the mountain, towards the hut, weather pattern, climate changes. No shade on this side, just sunny. Fortunately, that's why I said today's weather forecast is ideal in terms of temperature forecast. There. Oh yes, yes. I think they are going to be pretty as There was a woman who went in that trailer path. She did craddock past a neighbor of mine about 2 weeks ago and said to me, as they went over the pass on the other side of the mountain, there was a heap of proteas. So that's not that long ago, and that's what's made me optimistic that we might have some on this side, quite far from here. I can see a couple. Something else I'm still going to do one day with Johan and Janine maybe, and anybody else that sees fit. It's going to be a lot of rocks. Used to go around there and all along the edge there, and then further along the edge there, and from there we'll decide, I suppose, whether we're coming back the same way and whether we go down onto the Outeniqua Pass and walk up with the Outeniqua Pass rocks. And obviously time to drink something. 3 of us here, well 4, and time to wait for the rest of the people. We've made quite a bit of ground coming down on the interior side. I should actually have saved a clip for one of the proteas that are flowering. I think maybe next year, come a month or 2 earlier, when the proteas are more in flowering, because you can see the flowering is just stopped and more in growing now. Growing season. I should have taken a nice clip of 3 beautiful ones on a particular flower and taken it with that rock. We were right at the top of the saddle and coming back down this side here towards the hut, where we will definitely have our breakfast. Not doing bad in terms of the timing. Yeah, have a look at my watch here. My steps 2 hours and 15 minutes, so should be about 9:15, somewhere around there. Not bad going at all. This will give you a nice perspective of this area here. Totally different from the George side. I would have loved to see when they built this hut. There's enough rocks in this region to gather up so as to build it. I love the way it was built. It's just, that's what I like about both huts of Cape Nature. This one and Tierkop. This one built from rocks, and the other one at Tierkop built from wood. And still, this balcony's roof here is in immaculate condition. It looked brand new. The first time I looked at it, I got the impression it was put on like very recently, and yet it still looks like it was just put on recently. It must have been put on. It must have been replaced at some stage, because it's in immaculate condition. The top there, and this protection around the windows is exactly the same as the protection around the windows at Tierkop. So they decided it goes, this one probably also goes straight through the wall, and it's probably also welded so that you can't even loosen the bolts, which is a good thing. And the guy that spoke to me from Cape Nature said to me he built this practically by himself and built it with rocks so that it molds in with the actual hut as well. I said to him, I admire you for that, my friend. I admire you. The gutters are clean, but they're just not connected. See if we can connect this top one here. I'll do it now. I don't want to break that. And then I wonder where the tank is. There was a tank next to the hut there last time. That's obviously been taken away. Time for breakfast, Ben. Time for a selfie. We're all gathering a bit closer. busy having our breakfast here. Nisha, Elma, Heidi, Marina, and Janine, Kieran, and Roy.
Next to me.
Come and sit, yeah, where it's sunny.
Okay, not everybody can be next to me.
Time to take a selfie here.
Further away from me.
It doesn't help when it takes it there with some people in the background where it's shady. It'd rather be here.
Between the two poles.
By Campherskloof hut. Only bit of shade is here at this balcony for quite some time, all the way to that saddle there again. The next shade is on the other side of this piece of mountain at the pine trees. Complete contrast. Different rocks on this side versus the rocks on the other side, and you may or may not see the piece of Cradock Peak sticking out. Not that there, not there, about there is a little peak sticking out far a bit, just a small little piece. That's Cradock Peak. Yeah, even from here I can see a small little white dot on it, which is those buildings. Yeah, they're about to come. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're ready, Freddy. Ideal weather, actually. Perfect weather. We have had no shade in the past 4 kilometers, and finally we are reaching this saddle here. And yeah, got a little bit of shade if one wanted to. Technically under this rock here, at least. First rock since the bottom of the valley, and very close to this saddle, where I am going to insist on finding the nearest tree and taking my medication. Got this sudden oomph in me just to do this last little bit here. Right there. Look at the contrast between that side and with pine trees, and this side no pine trees. It's not because of a fire, it's just because of a different climate. Find me a pine tree, please, with some shade. Any pine tree, anything. A rock. We've even got more rocks than on the other side. Yeah, I'm going to sit for a moment, please. Back to the subway, looking down on that farming terrain there. One must enjoy this beauty while one can, before one gets to the next kind of beauty, the section where the pine trees and the wattle trees and the rocks, of course, the rocks are all beautifully entangled together. Fynbos in between them here. There are times where you can come and there's going to be more color amongst some of the fynbos to see, and then some of the pine trees that have burnt down with the fire, and some that either survived or that have come up after the fire. But this is such a beautiful spot. Like I was saying, I really don't know about any other section where you've got such a beautiful entangled mixture of fynbos and pine trees. I'm used to seeing wattle trees. Don't know if you saw that purple flower. I'm used to seeing wattle trees in between pine trees and all kinds of weeds, but not fynbos. Not to mention these rocks here. Very nice area this. This whole section all the way down to the Outeniqua Pass is full of these yellow flowers. This whole wall, as far as the eye can see, is full of these yellow flowers. I've never seen it like this. What I've seen before is quite a lot of these flowers, as well as quite a lot of those flowers, quite a lot of those flowers, all like together at the same time maybe. But I've never seen so many of one particular one. Must be the ideal weather for it. And this 30 millimeters of rain that we had must have just been like perfect at the right time, right climate, I don't know. But it really is, it's very pretty. Very scenic. Can I zoom in here? Very close to the end, a couple of meters away from Sputnik Tower. And we'll be back at that parking area. Thank you very much for joining. Today was interesting with all those yellow flowers, which I haven't seen. Point of the matter is, every single time there's something unexpected, even if it's the same trail that you may have done a year ago, maybe even as much as 2 or 3 years ago. Every time there's something different that you weren't expecting. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. The pine trees with the rocks in between them, and then going to the other side, which is completely different to this side. Some effort that was done building that hut with the rocks. Take my hat off to that. And everything put together. What a great team today. I think it was about 9 people of us, 9 of us. And just nice having friends with you all along. So anyway, hope you liked it. Do us all a great favor, click on like, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see what the other kind of adventure part we can think of to do this coming Sunday in about a week's time. I think they're forecasting fairly hot temperatures, so maybe a nice swim somewhere, something like that. You're open to make suggestions, maybe under comment if you want to. And we'll speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.